everybody. Welcome back to Eternal Extravaganza. Got it right that time. Number
Yeah.
6 in Baltimore, Maryland. So we just got done with the Miracles Mirror.
Yeah.
Got to
Our
see some four-color control.
our backup matchup, the Miracles
Absolutely,
Mirror.
and some other some Miracles versus four-color right before that too, right?
Yeah, so far it's been exciting. We've seen a lot of mirror matches. We've seen a lot of traditional styles. I'd love to see like Chaos Elves or something crazy come up,
Oof,
Something like that would really spice up the feed, I think.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So, anything else other than just some random elves list or something that you would want to see?
Yeah, I mean, there's probably a few options. I could see somebody doing something goofy with some artifacts or playing a stacks type. We haven't seen your deck yet, Eldrazi.
Oh yeah, still want to see Eldrazi. Actually, anything that plays Ancient Tomb and City of Traders is what I'm after.
Yeah,
So
even a Sneak and Shy I would take. I'm
it
up for
plays
anything.
it plays at least like one or two of those cards, right?
Yeah, yeah. I
I'll
want
take it.
some. I want some acceleration, some power. Let's see what happens.
Hmm.
That's what I want.
Yeah, that goes back to that like where you were talking about, winning big or winning and not looking pretty versus
Right.
losing and looking pretty. So
People tend to get very frustrated, especially with Sneak and Show, because it's not a whole lot of skill, very draw dependent, does it or doesn't it resolve type of play.
sure,
Yeah.
I don't know like. When you say not a lot of skill, I mean you're also putting that into a different sort of perspective. You
Yeah.
still have to resolve your brainstorms right. You still have to resolve your ponders. You still have to counter at the right point. You
The
still have to.
basics. Yes.
I get that it's basics, but that's basics for a legacy player.
I agree. And people just coming into it, that's something that they all have to learn for sure.
Right. And granted, that might be a good deck to learn it with, but you don't master it day one usually.
You're right. Sometimes it's hard to remember when you have so many years under your belt.
Right.
Just like everything that other people don't realize or don't know because they haven't drafted it.
Right.
I remember drafting brainstorms. But
Which a lot of people did recently with the Eternal Masters.
yeah, that's true.
We
Okay,
did get to draft
so
some
people are
brainstorms
getting
with
to do that again too now. That's pretty great, actually.
Yeah, I got to draft some. I remember drafting alliances. That was fun. Not really. Balduvian hordes. You wanted those.
Yes, yeah, that was a bomb.
Uh,
The Wretched was a pretty good one in Limited, I remember.
there you go.
Yeah. Well, let's take a second and welcome anybody new to the feed too. This is Tales of Adventure running Eternal Extravaganza 6, and we also have sponsors Dex Protection.
Yep, Dex Protection, big sponsor for the event. Everybody who entered did get a brand new deck box from them.
Right.
Pretty nice too.
Good deck boxes. We're playing Legacy, 8 rounds, cut to top 8, $20,000 cash prizes for the top 8. That's a pretty sweet cash prize for a Legacy event.
Do we want to drop them another hint as far as who will be sitting here tomorrow?
Oh, okay. Well, what do you think? What should we give them?
Could be associated with one of the vendors that is here.
Oh, okay. Associated with a vendor. That's a good hit. Let's not do more because that narrows it down to like 4.
Well, not everybody knows all the vendors that are here.
That's
Which, if
true.
you want to find out, you can go and check out
TOA Magic.
Comics. Yeah, at Magic. Yep.
Yeah. Is it TOA Comics? Comics.
Yeah, I believe it is.
It's probably going to be on their feed once the match starts, which is going to happen any second. They're
Right.
pairing the round now, and we're going to find our deck list for the next features.
Well, if you find Tales of Adventure on Facebook, they'll have all the different links there.
Yep.
There's things about the satellite series for that feed into the Extravaganza events, which are awesome. This one being the 6-1, huge prizes, huge payout. You guys wanted legacy events. You want eternal formats.
You
this
don't
weekend-
want to play Standard and Sahili and Vehicles.
There are no Thoptercopters in any 175 this weekend.
You know, it's
I'm
funny.
probably actually lying.
That card's banned now at Standard.
In Standard, but
Yeah.
not you. They could play it.
That's
in
true.
this. But
You know what's funny is everybody made this like uproar. Like, how is something not banned? 15 of 16 top 16 decks at the GP are either cat combo or vehicles. They didn't ban anything. Standard is awful. Blah 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 blah. But then we see a low attendance turnout here. I'm like, where are the people? Let's support the things that we have fun with. The formats where we don't have a lot of complaints.
no, and that's one of the great things about the eternal formats.
Yeah,
They're a ton of fun.
a ton of fun.
You know,
And there's lots of options.
How often are you going to see someone have a brainstorm Notion Thief? Seems pretty awesome to me.
Yeah, or have Dak faded out for multiple turns with Notion Thief. That's the sweet one.
There you go. There you go. So
Yeah.
yeah, you definitely did play some Dak Faden, right?
Oh yeah, I did. I'm actually looking forward to Leovold and Dak Faden interaction.
Ooh,
That seems like it'd be good.
no, seems good.
Yeah.
All right, so it looks like some of our feature match people are actually making their way over, so we should be getting started with that rather shortly here.
We got some exciting players walking over there. I see a Death and Taxes player, a four-color Delver player. I see an Eldrazi player. I see a
Oh.
Lands player or a Miracles player. So we're going to see what we get in a second.
Who is the possible lands player?
Lands is our GP winner. What's his name? Ooh, striking a blank. It'll come to me later.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't catch that, but yeah, so that'd be really great to get some of those different decks on camera.
Yeah.
If
well,
we could
here
have
go.
no Delverless Delver, I think would be really good. All right.
I'd like to see a Delver list with Delver.
Well, we did. We saw that too.
Yeah, but it didn't flip.
For a long
You
time.
just can't have a good game with Delver when that happens. That's like
All right,
every
let's see
Delver
what we
player's
got.
nightmare. All right, so
Whoa,
we have
I already see-
Mario Nito and
Okay.
Jarvis Yu. Jarvis Yu was the one I thought could be Lands or Miracles,
Okay.
and he's Miracles.
Miracles, all right. Now, I said whoa because I saw the first card, and the first card here made me very, very happy.
Tombstalker.
Tombstalker, the Gurmag Angler of old,
Of the sky.
of the sky, the Sky Mag Angler.
So this is like an old school USA list. Tombstalkers and Hymn to Torox, and it's Bug, abrupt
Yep.
decays, no bolts or anything like that. Is he not playing Fatal Push?
They're in the board.
Just in the board. And
Yeah.
how many? Only
Two.
two. Wow, no love for Fatal Push.
Yeah.
Choosing to play Dismember over it. I think a lot of people are playing around like Gurmag Angler at this tournament, which I'm quite surprised by.
Yeah.
And I mean,
And
it's
we
not
haven't.
a
We've
lot
only
of it.
seen one. It did make it on camera, but
Yeah.
it was the only one in the list.
And it wasn't like super relevant. It was just checked by Baleful Strix.
Mm-hmm.
So it's weird to see people warping their deck around something that's not a 4 of in any list and only a 2 of in some lists.
Right. Crazy.
So let's look at Jarvis's list to see if there's anything different for a minute. He's not running the basic mountain. He's playing the... no, he's just playing 2 volcanic islands. So he's letting people waste
He has a
them off
mountain
red.
in the board.
Oh, he's doing the sideboard strategy.
And for that,
alright.
he cut a Monastery Mentor. He only has 2 Mentors in his board.
Strange. Okay, is he running an extra win condition main? 2 J still,
3 Snapcasters.
2 entreat, 3 snaps. No, he's just trimmed a kill condition for that extra piece of fluid mana,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't mind. I'm frequently known to do that. I like a smooth running deck more than I do just having like all the threats.
Sure.
Yeah, so he's running the From the Ashes also, a popular sideboard card now. Containment Priest, which I think is very important against all your sneak and show matchups.
Sure.
Yeah.
Also, it's good against your graveyard matchups as well, too.
Of course, yes, definitely. To which they don't really run a lot of other things. They run 2 surgicals now, and not much else. Some other lists will run Rest in Peace, but that's not really a thing anymore. People are really moved away from it.
And so we do have another Invasive Surgery in the sideboard over here, too.
Yeah, so even though he's running an old style list, he has a couple of the new cards in,
Right.
but just a couple.
Yeah, this Dan, I forget what his last name was. The guys who used to run Team America.
Yeah, I know which day you're talking about too.
I think it starts
man.
with an
It's a
S.
very pretty man too.
I think he's a doctor, if I'm not
He
mistaken.
is. He
Yeah.
does something like crazy
Yeah. But,
rocket surgeon.
he's committing rocket surgery. Yes. He is the man who knows how to take a duck to eagle school, I'm sure. Yes.
So I'm excited to see this match. This is going to be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, this is also our first time that we're going to see Tarmogoyf on camera today,
Yeah.
which one-time format all-star. I mean, if Tarmogoyf was a color, he would probably be blue,
Right.
because he used to be in every gosh darn blue deck ever. Obviously cutting down at least a little bit in, prevalence, which is crazy.
It is crazy. It's weird. And you see patterns of it too. Like people are either going all in on it or not at all.
Yep.
You see the Death Shadow Modern deck, for instance, going kind of all in. Mishra's Baubles just to make your Goyfs bigger and to enable Delirium.
So who
Getting
do
it.
you think's going to pull this one out?
I actually think Romero, even though I have the greatest respect for Jarvis's playability. I think the deck list lines up. Oh, you're voting Miracles.
I'm gonna go with Jarvis here.
All right. So am I bad guy?
You're bad guy.
I'm bad guy. All right. So what's our record? We've won the last two, right?
No.
No, we lost the last two. I had a win and a draw.
Wait. I don't even remember anymore.
I'm pretty sure we won the third
I
one.
don't want to know. How about that?
You don't want to know?
I don't want to know.
I think that means I'm winning.
Yeah, you're winning. All right.
You know how I like the sound of that.
I'm sure you do. All right, so we have Romario on the right there, who showed that he went to the same GP that I believe you got ninth. That's
Thank you.
well, no, that was a fantastic finish. Yes, you missed top 8, but it was still a heck of a finish.
I appreciate that.
That was a very large tournament.
I was X and 2, and I think I was actually 10th at
10th?
X and
Okay.
2. Yeah, I think there were
Okay, well,
3 people at X and 2 that didn't top 8 that one.
slightly less.
What's that? Man, Akash was in 9th. So, Romario won the die roll, so
Yep.
that helps my guess of who's going to win this.
It's two very, very nice sets of playmats there,
Oof, look at that hand, too. Romario has a great hand. 2 Delvers, Ponder, Daze, him to
though. Ooh,
Torok.
wow.
He's going to come out of the gates swinging real fast and hard this
He
game.
certainly did, for sure. Oh, look
He's
at this.
hemming? No, play double Delver. Double Delver. No!
Oh.
Darn it.
All right.
God, I hate to see that. You're playing a deck that needs to win through aggression. So Jarvis is on the double mull, 4, 5, 6 cards. So Romario's thinking he can put him away or cripple him with
Well,
that
I mean,
play.
him to Turok is the best land destruction spell that doesn't target a land.
I know. Oh, a second one with 2 cards in Jarvis's
Oh,
hand.
no way.
You know that's what he's playing after that first play. Brainstorm.
All right,
Okay,
we
so
got
we're getting
Brainstorm.
some card selection, but we're not going to be happy.
Losing cards.
Yep. So he can predict on his next turn and be back up to 2 again.
That's such a terrible proposition, isn't
Yeah,
it?
not ideal.
And he knows what he's going to discard, and he's going to want to draw the predict, and then he loses that card too that he predicts.
Mm-hmm. This is why I picked Sultai Delver. I think it just has so much good card advantage against a Miracles type of list.
Sure.
And even underneath a lock, it plays something like Tombstalker and can grow out, but also has 4 abrupt decays to prevent it from even getting locked.
Yeah. There's only game 1, all right?
Don't count my chickens before they're hatched.
Yeah.
Got it. I'd like to see him. Can't predict your fetch land. That makes sense.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's hard to see that on the screen. It almost looked like a plains. But yeah, it is a flooded strand. So, yeah, I definitely think Sultai Delver is far ahead. I would not want him to overcommit to the board right now. He doesn't have a counter magic, and if a Terminus comes up, that's kind of how Jarvis comes back.
Sure.
And that's good. He's not doing it.
So
knows
he's
his stuff.
just holding on.
Yeah.
I mean, you can predict and just get 1 card,
You could still cast it, but
cycle it.
I'm surprised he's doing this because you could have the Delver. Oh, he's targeting the Delver card. Okay, good. Yeah, predict against Delver is pretty sweet.
Yep.
But Brainstorm is gonna trump it again. I'd love to see Romario put Dismember right back where it was and still get predicted away.
Yeah.
But Jarvis won't know if it is or not. But I imagine he can't do that because with such limited information, Jarvis just still has to name it.
Right.
He can get this Bayou shuffled away if he wants.
Yeah, look at
Doesn't
that.
actually need it. You can tell he wants Dismember to be thrown away.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't really hurt him all that bad, right?
Yeah. It's just far too risky to put Dismember there because,
Yeah. Giving up 2 cards to your opponent.
yeah, it's just not worth it.
I mean, the crazy thing, I mean, we could just see a Terminus come off, and that'd be pretty good.
That would be pretty good.
That's how they get their card advantage back. Goodbye, Bayou Billy.
Yeah, I think the quick clock here is really just what's going to put this away. Force of Will is the card that we've seen.
All right, so
Ooh,
well,
a 4/4 Angel.
it does some work here.
Ah, the Force of Will. Predict shows Force of Will.
Okay.
Is what we're being told.
Yeah, I mean, you could see just calling that out in the blind. I mean, after the brainstorm.
That was a little risky of Jarvis, I think. But now that we know that he has to dismember, that Angel's not long for this world.
Right.
Yeah, I think Jarvis already feels like he's lost this game. I think he's playing ultra fast in the interest of making sure that he gets to finish a game 3 if he needs to.
Oh, is that Tombstalker? It certainly looks like it.
Yeah, it is.
Now, if you're Romario, do you play it?
No.
Yeah, okay. You want to leave that. You want to leave that little bit of spice sitting on the shelf yet, right?
Well, it's not to hide the spice. It's not to
just
play
to rebuild. He has a
Terminus.
Tarmogoyf in hand too. Like he has plenty.
He does, but like I don't want to just lose to running. Oh, yeah, I don't like this. I want to lose to running Terminuses, and like I just think that's a possibility. Whereas he's not coming back from those two.
Does not look good for Jarvis.
Nope.
And the best part, I mean, the crazy part of the Sultai Delver list here, they had 2 lands in play for almost the whole game. The game's darn near over.
And that's where he wants to be, too.
Absolutely.
So Terminus is not an out here because Deathrite activates at Jarvis's turn, and then on the upkeep in response to Terminus.
Yep.
So Jarvis should just save some time and move on.
Shake it. Shake his hand. Shake it.
Oh, what's he doing?
And I believe the person we were looking for earlier was Dan Signorini.
Yes, that's his name.
Team America with Mr. Dan Signorini.
Dan's a great man. And a powerful magician.
Powerful, powerful wizard. And there we see the scoop.
Yep.
Top and scoop. So if you're Jarvis.
Sideboarding time.
Yep. I don't know. What do you like? I mean, I think he has to bring the mentors.
Yeah, have to. You almost have to against everybody. There's just so many things that this deck answers, and you just need to have more threats.
Sure.
Pyroblasts are not great here.
No, I'm not loving it.
Flusterstorms are great because countering a Hymnothorax, huge.
Probably want those.
Yeah, and from the ashes, that's Armageddon for your opponent.
Does seem pretty good there.
Yeah, so we're probably on Flusters and from the ashes, and probably Mountain.
Now, here's my question, because you might want them, but it's so hard against the Hymnothorax decks. Do you want your Force of Wills? Do you want all 4?
No.
No. Shave it.
Like, you don't even love Force of Willing a Hymn. It's still 2 for 1.
Well, no, but I'm just saying, like, against the Hymn deck.
Right.
You don't want a 2 for 1 yourself, but do you keep some in?
That's what I'm saying. I don't think you do.
None?
Yeah, I think this is a great situation to just take him out. I think if you were worried about like a Leovold landing, which is interestingly enough, I don't think Romario's playing any.
No, it's definitely like a Team America list.
Yeah, this is an old school list.
Yeah.
And who are we to argue? 4-0. He's up a game.
Seems pretty good to me.
Yeah, he's in good contention for our top 8.
That's one of the fantastic things about Legacy. Like, technically, you could have showed up with a Goblins deck today and be doing pretty darn well. I mean, guys like Jim Davis did it for a real long period of time.
And even he gave up on the deck.
I know, he did. But I'm just saying, like, that deck had long since passed before it became even at all relevant, or was even relevant. And you can still show up with it and do pretty darn well with it. So,
let's see what Romario is going to board in. He's going to board in Invasive Surgery, maybe Flusterstorm, Pithing Needle for sure.
Definitely.
Sylvan Library for sure, Click for sure.
And you love Sylvan Library. It's one of your favorites.
One of my favorites.
Yeah, Sylvan Library. One of your
I'm all
favorites.
about that Sylvan Library life. I feel like it's so narrow and even not great against what it's good against that you're better off playing a different card that's also good against that matchup and other decks.
So definitely not bringing in the Fatal Pushes. Definitely not bringing in the Jaces.
Well, no, probably bringing.
You think the Jaces?
Yeah, Jaces are great. Why wouldn't you?
I still think you're the aggressive deck. I mean, the
Well, he's not playing like an aggressive player. He's casting him on turn 2 instead of 2 Delvers.
Yeah, that's true.
So, and you're up against
So you're
Miracles.
saying because you saw the way Romario played that you would want
Yeah.
Jace. Okay.
Yeah, and I do this a lot when I'm playing Magic, and it pays off more than it doesn't, I
By
think.
the way, I saw the Flusterstorm.
Yeah?
On
On
Romario's side.
Romaros?
Yep.
Okay. So he decided to bring it in. Like I said, I usually bring in one Flusterstorm and not two. Let's see what he decided
It's
to
staying
do.
at the bottom of his deck.
Yeah.
No, it's not. All right.
So the problem is when you draw too many of things like that and you fight your opponent on too many battlefields. So you're hemming, you're trying to counter, and you're trying to be aggressive, and you're trying to hit their lands. You're just not having a cohesive strategy.
Sure. I mean, I guess the cohesive strategy is you're trying to do all those things. Right?
I think that's a oxymoron.
No. No, jumbo shrimp is an oxymoron. All right, so they're drawing their opening 7.
Yep. Romario's hand is land heavy.
Yeah, and the problem is Wasteland, I think, in this matchup loses a lot of value because Jarvis can get a lot of basics.
He would. There is a brainstorm. This usually makes players keep. I don't love Romario's hand. I'm glad he's mulliganing.
Okay. So it looks like Jarvis is keeping. He'll be on the play. You know, with the Miracles deck, I would often, if I have a land light hand and I have a brainstorm, I'd probably keep it too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
For me, it depends on like the context of do I have a sequence of things.
Well, I'm just talking generality's sake.
Sure. That makes sense.
If I have a Ponder and 1 land and a bunch of really good spells, I'm probably keeping it.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite brainstorm art, Ely?
Probably the Ice Age one.
Okay.
I like it over the Mercadian.
Yeah. Okay, Tarmogoyf, Abrupt Decay. Can't make out the Liliana.
Not a single land yet. No lander.
Was that surgical?
Yes, he brought in
He
surgical.
did bring in surgical. Nice.
Yeah, I'm surprised by this as well. I want to say this is a faux pas.
Yeah, I mean,
What are you planning on hitting?
You know what's actually not too bad to hit would be the fetch lands.
Ugh.
Taking away the shuffle effects.
Ugh.
Well, what else are you going to hit?
Yeah, that's why you don't bring it in, though.
Well, I'm just trying to think. You asked what you could hit. If I was going to be aiming at something.
3 different fetches. They've already used 1. You're basically gestures capping 3 semi-useless cards out of their deck.
I didn't say it was awesome, Ely. I just said. Yeah, I mean, like, especially in a lot of strategies, you can bring those in and you can hit, like we were talking about earlier, you can go and you can hit the dual lands.
Yeah.
But not so much here. The dual lands aren't going to help you.
Yeah, they're not essential to a Miracles deck.
No, they have six basics in Jarvis's list.
Yep.
All right, we have lands and spells, and I don't think.
Oh, this is a keeper.
Yeah, I don't think Romario can throw that one back.
He has Deathrite, Liliana, Jace, land. It's pretty much a pick 5, and that would be it.
Pretty good, yeah. Although I don't know, I'd probably put a Delver and a Brainstorm in my pick 5 for that deck.
I don't think so.
No?
I would want to ramp into Planeswalkers.
Okay.
I would assume that the Delver strategy would not succeed. Although one of my lands would certainly be a fetch, so that I wouldn't be stuck in this scenario.
Sure.
I'd like to see him attack.
Just getting dirty.
Yeah. No Ambush Viper here.
I believe I've heard commentators say that he's going to Browntown. All right, so Jarvis firing off a Brainstorm here. And
so I hope Romario is noticing that in game 1, Jarvis fetched dual lands. And now in game 2, even though Romario's down 2 cards and hasn't played a waste, that Jarvis is fetching basics.
saying that he's still land light.
That should, just tingle his spider sense and let him know that there might be something coming.
Yep.
If it's not Blood Moon, then From the Ashes or the other one.
Sure. Yeah, it could also just be he's land light, though, too, and can't risk losing
Certainly.
a land to a wasteland. I mean, how many people do you think, I'm going to say probably a pretty large swath would know about From the Ashes?
Yeah, I think it's pretty well known.
Yeah.
I think if people aren't used to it already, they will be used to it soon.
Sure.
But grabbing a Tundra now, that throws off that thought.
Yeah, he switched gears.
I think he wants to be able to swords and cast double blue spells, so he's
Okay.
going with this instead.
Yeah,
Or
so
maybe even trying to entice Romario to kill that and not kill his red source.
sure. All right. So we're gonna let's see a drop there, or a volcanic. I mean, swords and the top. Your 1-drop goes away. I get my 1-drop.
So Liliana's coming down here.
And I guess he can afford to tick it up because he has an extra land in hand. Romario does.
Oh yeah. Then he can't cast his Jace, so he might want to pitch Abrupt Decay.
Yeah. There's no counterbalance down to, to really have to go and get it.
Plus, a lot of Miracles players that know about 4 Abrupt Decay lists, they try to take out their counterbalances.
Sure. At least some number, right?
It leaves almost no targets. It looks like Romario didn't up it.
Did nothing. He just cast it, resolved it, and moved on.
Passed.
Which is oftentimes smart. I mean, especially because now he's going to get to untap and play Jace.
Absolutely, I agree.
I remember a number of years back now, Caleb Durward did a article where he said that sometimes the best thing to do with Liliana is to cast it and do nothing.
Yeah.
And people have a hard time knowing when that is. So.
Yep. And he is right. Very smart player.
Yep. Heck of a nice guy, too.
Yeah.
Nice beard. You can't go wrong with a beard like that. You know? And actually, he was I believe he was a roommate of your friend Mr. Wesco.
Yeah.
For some time.
2 solid mages under one roof.
Yeah, crazy.
No wonder they got even better.
There you go. So we didn't see the Jace ran out by Romario.
Right. He's holding up because he wants to Flusterstorm.
Okay.
Or even just Abrupt Decay Snapcaster.
Yeah, sure. But maybe he wants all the things. I mean, again,
Yeah.
can't blame somebody for wanting all the things.
So Jarvis sort of set up a Entreat the Angel on top of his deck. But he changed his mind and went for the Jace play once he saw the Abrupt Decay used.
Sure.
Which I really like.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to get around Romario's Flusterstorm really well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like how many cards I think Romario sideboarded here. I think he had a great Game 1 strategy, and he just wanted to maintain. And I think he really changed the outlook of the match by bringing in a lot of different cards that aren't as good.
Yeah, you change the composition of the deck so much sometimes by bringing cards in.
Yeah.
I mean, there are certainly times, like if you went back years ago and went with like a lands list and they were playing against a combo deck, they had to bring in a ton of cards.
Certainly.
They had to dilute their deck to do it. Otherwise, they would just roll over and play dead. But outside of things like that, you can do such a thing as over sideboard. That
Also,
might be what we're seeing.
Also, I think it's a common mistake. People are combating Miracles by trying to go big and powerful instead of small and quick.
Right.
And I think small and quick is how you get there.
Sure. Well, I think the speed, is just a huge part of it. Now we're seeing the Pyroblast here from Jarvis to take care of the Jace.
Has to get the basic mountain to cast it.
Yep. There it is. So he did sideboard in his basic mountain.
Yep.
But that's one of the things where, like Eldrazi, that it survives and does well against Miracles because it's quick. It's not necessarily small. It goes pretty big. It goes wide, but it does it rather fast. So what do we think? That's a Chinese Sensei's Divining Top?
Yes, and Jarvis loves to play with Chinese cards.
Oh,
So
there
a
you
lot
go.
of the cards in his deck are Chinese.
Okay, Tundra, 3 mana. EE on 3?
Yep.
Now, fun interaction. I might be speaking to a lot of people who already know this, but the Sunburst counts the colors, not the number of mana. So one of the ways to get around a counterbalance oftentimes would be pumping extra mana in.
Yeah, 8 blue, 1 white.
8 blue, 1 white. Get that counterbalance. Get out of my face, right?
You're probably safe at 7, but...
But 8's where you want to live, right? Is that a wear tear that we saw there?
I think so. Terminus and wear
Or
tear.
Terminus, yeah, was both.
Terminus.
Terminus. I'm going to predict something away.
Yep.
So then, that's always the thing. I know oftentimes the right thing to do with Jace is just brainstorm.
Oh, yeah.
Always. The quote-unquote Fate Seal or Scry modes there, chances are probably not always the right way to go. I would go probably so far as to say it's almost always wrong.
I remember I was playing a Legacy GP, and I had out Jace. Opponent was in a similar situation where Mario's in, shipped back to me. And the first thing I was thinking of was to Jace Brainstorm, but instead I decided to play a top first.
Mm-hmm.
So I announced it, and he motioned like he was going to play Notion Thief, but then he realized that I said top, and I didn't say Jace.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, flinched back, and I was like, I'll spin top, and I'll Fate Seal you.
Yes, now we will Fate Seal. That would be
Go.
the time that it was correct to Fate Seal. Also correct so it didn't die to the flashed-in Notion
Yes,
Thief, right?
exactly. Had to grow it, had to not get boned by it.
Yeah. So Jarvis, it looks like he has EE, another EE there, and Terminus in hand as well.
And Brainstorm, too.
And he is now starting to Fate Seal.
Yep. He's like, I'm solidly ahead. Let's put this game away. Get game 3 started. 24 minutes still on the clock. All that jazz.
Although I still think that his best method might be still fighting and treat the Angels and just trying to end this in a turn or two. This is obviously a little bit slower. It's going to cost him a few more turns.
Yeah, a few more minutes. It might be smoother.
Sure.
Harder.
I mean, it requires doing less.
Right. Harder for Romario to answer.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, Fate Sealing also, keeping your opponent off specific cards, good too.
Sure.
I do love Fate Sealing myself with Jace, especially with top.
You mean scrying?
Yeah, scry.
Fate Seal is targeting an opponent. Scrying is yourself. Just saying.
All right.
Pet peeve.
Well, there's the entreat. I mean, you could go for both.
There you go. He needs a flawless victory. He needs to actually do the From the Ashes to destroy all of Romario's lands. He needs to poison him.
What I love about Jace, too, is as you grow it and you Fate Seal them,
then
you keep on top, even if it's a good card, if they have a fetch, because they assume it's a bad card, and then they crack their fetch.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, but that's just the mind game of it. I mean, like
it is.
The more powerful thing is when they don't have the fetch out and you still do that, and it's the best possible card.
Yeah.
And like, what you're letting me have this is the only way I can win. Yeah, got that covered. It's just that mental game. All right. Yep. Jarvis is going to go for it.
Might as well attack from multiple angles. Play around Stifle. So Romario should Surgical here just to see how Jarvis sideboarded.
That would be smart.
And then he should board out Surgical so that my prediction can win.
Nice. No, I think, in fact, he should stay very heavily boarded. Okay, we're going to have some Angels, most likely. Bless you.
Excuse me.
So the correct move here for Romario, it starts with his left hand way to the left,
Surgical.
his right hand way to the right, and then pulling them together, which is exactly what he just did.
Not surgicaling there, though.
No, surgically would be obviously better.
Free information just not taken.
Well, that's one of the unfortunate things where they changed that rule now. Is one of my favorite things to do is always Mindslaver people, and then ask to consult their sideboard.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you would like to scoop now? Fantastic. Yeah. But it's probably correct that it doesn't work that way anymore. But
yeah, probably right.
it was certainly something that I enjoyed to do. I did that one a lot. Like, okay, your sideboard, please. What? You don't get that? Yes, I do.
It did make for weird interactions with Burning Wish, though, right? Like,
yes.
If you could consult your sideboard, or you couldn't consult your sideboard, but you could cast Burning Wish, what do you do there?
Right.
Yeah. Did that then reveal to you their sideboard if you did, or you just couldn't do it?
I'm not 100% sure on that.
I think they decided that you just couldn't do it, which is just kind of awkward.
Yeah, I'm sure you can still cast it, but I'm sure we can ask Bryant. I'm sure he's probably actually come up against it.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, the guy's played that deck a whole lot.
The best Mindslaver-like ability or card they ever made, Word of Command.
Okay.
Know what it is?
No.
2 black, and I think it might be an interrupt.
Oh.
Alpha Beta Unlimited. And it says you get to perform one action for your opponent. Essentially, just one action. I think it's an instant.
You should you could put that on Isochron Scepter then.
Yeah, I think you can.
You just keep on keeping on there.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to play it functionally. I think when it was designed, it was meant that like people couldn't really respond to it.
Gotcha. Oh, as an interrupt, yeah.
Yeah, well, even if it was an instant, I mean, they just thought that Magic players would just play things and then they would happen. They didn't think about the fact that we would stop and think about everything they did and then respond to things.
Sure.
So, like, even though the stack has sort of been there all along, it really wasn't in the beginning, and the speed to which you announced and did stuff kind of had an impact. And judges used to make a lot of decision calls in the moment on things, and you were pretty much just left to your own devices and hoping that the ruling went in your favor.
So I think you would want a word of command your opponent to use an Ashnod's coupon.
To make them get you a drink.
Beverage.
And then they have to pay for it, right?
They have to pay for it.
That's pretty sweet.
That's the errata.
I think you just broke the format.
I did. I did. I'm actually going to cast word of command right after this. Do you have some swamps laying around? All right. So obviously we're probably going to see the same sort of strategy. Romario did seem to present towards the quick side, so you might not have gotten your wish.
That's very disappointing.
Yeah.
I wish I could change my pick now.
He's also having a tough time finding colored mana.
There's that surgical. It just feels gross in his hand.
He did pick up a Delta there, so he does have some colored mana and a Wasteland. Again, Jarvis towards the end of Wasteland proof.
Oof, I really don't like where this is headed.
It's like he already mulliganed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have used the Brainstorm at end of turn. I would have liked that better. He got lucky to draw a Deathrite Shaman, I think. His follow-up land being the Wasteland is going to be kind of awkward.
It is.
Jarvis can play around it now, and it's going to have to come out first.
Right.
Oh, don't play it first.
Oh, wow.
He's not playing Daisy's Miracles. Now Jarvis knows not to fetch a duel.
It's Daisicles. And even just straight out has basics. Gotta love it.
Jarvis has no more land in his hand.
Uh-oh.
That's interesting.
Well, then you're liking your position now, then.
Well, I'm not loving it, but I'm not hating it. But Jarvis does has top. So let's say Romario draws Piling Needle next turn. Then I'm liking it.
Sure.
Then I'm liking it a lot.
But maybe actually he didn't bring those in because he brought in the surgicals.
Yeah. The main phase Brainstorm.
Main phase after the fetch land.
Yeah. Well,
which he had no choice on.
Played his land first. I think he's probably regretting having played his land first.
Right.
I don't think that mattered much because he's playing top probably here anyway.
Yep, there's the top. Okay, so here's your Brainstorm. See a lot of white border, so I think we've got some lands.
Romario's no longer in any mana problems. Probably going with a click on his opponent's turn. I don't think I would draw step it like some people do. I think I would just end of turn it here.
Yeah, just kind of get all the information, see where the turn ended.
Oh man, what are we doing?
Pay for a surgical on the Brainstorms?
It's looking like he's tapping 2, and I don't know what for. Oh, that was a Sylvan Library, but he can't cast that. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and tapping C, not Wasteland. I feel like my pick is falling apart here.
Well, it's with your favorite card, too, that you love so much.
I know. You know how I love Sylvan Library.
I know. Well, I mean, the nice part is for Mario, he can actually be rather aggressive with the Sylvan Library. I know you don't love it here, but...
Well, I do love it here.
Okay.
But this is the only place I do love it.
Okay.
I like that Jarvis played this brainstorm before playing the land because he's tempting a Force of Will counter on it, making his opponent think that he doesn't have a land,
Right.
but he has a land and another brainstorm. Brainstorm being the best thing that Romario could have surgicaled, and he didn't.
Correct.
So now I'm like, why is that surgical in there? He just basically mulliganed for nothing.
All the mulligan, but he can unmulligan himself by paying 8 life very soon.
Sort of.
Kind of.
Kind of, sort of. Yeah.
All right.
Well, let's pay 4 and let's put a Jace on the table. I'm liking that.
All right, so he did in fact pay 4. Great part is he does get to reset the top 3 again.
Don't slow roll the Jace, bro. No.
Oh.
Why?
Fear. Fear is why.
He wants to click first, and that's just not right.
Well, he must be doing end of turn if he is going to.
He is. It's just still not right. Makes me sad.
You know, when you do your guest spot in the classroom there, like you were talking about for magic school, it might be on sequencing of spells.
Spells, yeah.
All right, so now we do see the click in response to the fetch.
That's what I get with going
Well,
with
it was
matchup.
that sequencing actually worked out pretty well because we don't have a red on the board.
Yeah, but if we look at Jarvis's hand, it's 2 of the things that he wants to hit.
Correct.
So it's not actually going to save him. I would have loved for him to play
Well,
Jace.
it does
draw.
help him. It does help him here though. Now with he will, however, be able to get rid of one of them. So then Jarvis has the decision of do I get rid of Click or do I get rid of Jace?
Well, like I think now it's pick Snapcaster based on this hand.
There's 2 of those too, though.
Right, but I think it's still like long term. That's what benefits you the most.
Yeah. Jarvis has what they call an embarrassment of riches.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you let the Miracles deck like draw cards.
All right, we have Surgical. Let's leave Snapcaster.
There you go.
No, don't take that either. No. He's worried about a Sylvan Library?
Don't know.
I think. I don't think I like that.
No, I'm sure you don't.
I think I would have preferred choosing nothing there.
So Jarvis picking up a card, gets to finish out with his fetch.
By the way, Jarvis was very happy that card got chosen.
Yes. Absolutely.
He's literally like, that was the best card that could be chosen out of my
if you
hand.
could actually, he was like, wait, so you're going to actually just cycle this card for me?
For me.
Yes, that seems awesome.
It's like, oh, Click has a drawback? Okay.
I wonder what that, you know what it does only with Leovold out.
Yeah.
All right, so Jarvis now getting a brainstorm. I don't know, Ely. I think we might be evening up this round.
I think you're right. I'm not ready to concede yet, but
I know. I got you.
Sequencing.
You know,
look at all those pretty basics, too.
It's like you had to watch Golden Girls before you watched Empty Nest.
Oh, no.
Because of the crossover between the... All right, fine. I'll get more relevant. You had to watch Green Arrow.
Yes.
You had to watch Arrow before you watched Flash.
Okay.
Because of sequencing.
Yeah.
And now Supergirl and 90 other thousand different things on the CW. The Legends of Tomorrow. And
the worst of them.
I don't know. It all kind of went... It's such a soap opera anymore.
Yeah.
The first 2 seasons of Arrow were so amazing.
Yeah.
He killed people. It was great.
Yep. I agree.
Now all of a sudden he has Batman conscience.
Yeah. It's nice when it was dark and real,
Yes.
and now it's like, where'd this come from?
Yeah. Well, Barry, you need to go really fast and turn back time again.
Yep. And again. And again.
All right, so we see the Tombstalker. Looks like the Tombstalker.
Tombstalker, Forceful, Polluted Delta.
I don't think that's what Romario really wanted.
Well, I think he just wants the bulk card advantage here. So I think you pay 8, and then you pretty much shut off your own Sylvan Library.
Oh, nope, we're only paying 4.
That's interesting.
I think that would be like the one thing with Sylvan Library that I've noticed the most over the years is that people don't get as aggressive with it as they should, especially in a matchup like this. If Jarvis is making Angels, you are probably going to die.
I really don't want him to cast Jace now. Okay, that's good.
Well, now you kind of do. Because now you can Surgical.
Well, if that was end of turn, I don't think he's surgical now, but now Jarvis knows you have it because you're doing this.
Right.
I think you just want to use surgical when he plays a Snapcaster, dude.
Yeah.
And why is he paying life and not mana?
Wow.
Oh,
I don't. Yeah, I can't tell you.
Ah. Oh, I tell you, it hurts. It hurts.
Sequencing, Ely. Sequencing.
Oh, I'm gonna lose, and it's not my fault.
Yeah. Listen, sometimes you got to pick the jockey. Sometimes you got to pick the horse.
Yeah, yeah.
And you pick the horse. I pick the jockey.
That's true. Oh. These 2-2 splits of Pyroblast, Red Blast really coming through for people.
Is he 2-2?
Yeah.
No, he is 4 Pyroblast.
Oh. Well, it looked like only 2 were removed.
He might have boarded. He might only boarded some.
Boarded into.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I think I even said to do that. Oh, there's the entreat.
There's the entreat that Romario is most likely going to die to. Now, Jarvis has out 4 of the 7 basics that he has available to him now. And when we see the...
Only one white,
land,
though.
Yeah, when we see the 5th land coming in, it's not going to matter that the Wasteland's out there because we're going to see a ton of angels coming down. This will look like a bad Buffy spinoff and we'll be full of angels.
Those shows were great.
Yeah. Sarah Michelle Gellar was great.
Really? You liked her? I always thought she was the worst part of the show.
Wow. You were much more of an Allison Hannigan fan?
I thought she was a good actress, and I enjoyed her character.
I liked her on How I Met Your Mother.
Honestly, Cordelia was my favorite of the women.
Okay.
So pretty, too.
All right, so we're seeing a Sylvan Library. We have a Ponder up there. Now you can't get more aggressive with it. I mean, you could take one more card, but it's not going to get you
I
anywhere.
feel like whatever Romario did to his deck just makes it look so clunky and
He
slow
should have probably
and
not even
bad.
sideboarded versus what this is.
I feel like we would have won if we just no sideboarded.
There's no we.
Yeah,
Right?
well, you know, me and my bud.
Yeah, I know. Just saying, you're in a divorce, all right?
Oh.
He gets the kids.
Well, so at least I'm winning in that regard.
Yeah, absolutely. You, however, are paying alimony. And, like, the crazy part is Romario's at 7, and he's the aggro deck.
Like, he wants to Jace. I just don't know why he's doing all these other things.
I mean, we don't even have to have the entreat cast. I mean, if you're Jarvis, do you even cast the entreat right now?
Well, you respond to the Jace and cast entreat,
Sure.
and then you force a little fight over that, and then just win.
I mean, he could just be hitting some Snapcaster mages and just bashing his way home. So he would have to lose the top to get his entreat out there because he would have to shuffle with the Flooded Strand.
because we didn't go for the Jace with Romario, I think this is the right play. Start applying pressure, and then when you're ready, entreat.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't love the situation that Romario's created for himself.
Right.
And I do say created for himself.
Yep. And it was really before the game started.
Yeah, yeah.
Unfortunate.
These are the kinds of things you pick up when you play the game a lot in this format a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Some good things and bad things and kind of the strategy you need to pull ahead.
Sure. All right. So we're just shipping back.
Yeah, Romario's playing a defense game now.
Yeah. And we can see how good that Wasteland's been all game.
Yeah.
Second land played, still there.
Yep. So at least there's a fresh 3 to look at with Sylvan.
Sure.
So it's kind of acting like a top, just not as efficient.
Well, it's efficient that he doesn't have to pay any extra mana for it.
Sure, but you don't get to look twice if you crack a fetch, for instance.
Yeah. What do you want from green?
More. You know what's a great card that people never play anymore? Root Maze.
Root Maze, huh?
You know what Root Maze is?
No. Why?
I know.
You do
right?
like terrible cards, don't you?
1 green enchantment, and artifacts and lands come into play tapped.
Oh.
So let's say you crack fetch.
If that was like 1 white and a colorless, that might be pretty good if it was a creature.
Sure, but it's single green, which is really cheap.
Yeah.
And when people play fetches, it sets them back 2 turns.
Yeah, true.
So it turns them into like terrible evolving wilds.
Ooh.
Yeah. I
So-
never see anybody abusing that fact.
So we could play that, and then we could also play like Suppression Field
Ooh.
and make them pay 2 to even activate the fetch land,
And basically just make them hate their life.
Yes.
The important part.
which is one of the best parts of Legacy. is
Yeah,
making
yeah.
people hate
Whenever
their
you can
life.
do that. I mean, it's like turn winning in Vintage.
Yes. No, see, I don't have a problem with that. What I do have a problem with is like turn 1 Trinosphere in Vintage.
Yeah, yeah. Workshop Trinosphere. All right,
Right.
your turn.
Yeah. Like I'd much rather somebody just win turn 1.
Strip Mine Crucible.
Yep.
Your turn.
GG. All right, so we see a predict. Getting rid of an extra top. Drawing some extra cards. We're topping again. Oh, so powerful.
Looks like Jace is coming. Since Jarvis is obviously very intelligent, he knows a hard cast Force of Will is coming.
And there
Cluster
it is.
Storm to deal with that, which he was just waiting for, itching to
Yep.
throw out of his hand.
Yeah, he knew it was coming.
Yeah.
Don't worry, it's coming.
This is like that scenario where we were against Brian Cook in round 2, where I was like, you can't just assume he's going to kill you on turn 2 after his only
Right.
turn 1 play was a duress. You just
Fine.
kind of have to run out your stuff.
He went with the unsummon.
Really?
Yeah. You're at 15.
Yeah, that's strange.
Like you can legitimately brainstorm with Jace, put your entreat back.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I guess he's waiting for next turn to do that play. Just lucky, I guess, that Romario doesn't play any Leovold, I guess.
Yeah. Well, now it actually works out pretty well because if he set it up, you know, we have Jace that could possibly Fate Seal.
Yeah. So Jace on Jace, that's going to help things.
Mm-hmm.
We can play our Deathrite and keep up a Flusterstorm. I don't know why he's not hiding a Delta here instead of a Ponder. Other than he wants to make his land drop. Maybe he wants to play both creatures? But that
Just
doesn't seem right.
Just trying to get in and get busy.
Maybe. Not holding out Flusterstorm at this stage, though, just seems rough.
This whole thing seems rough.
Like, you can play 2 things, like Jace and Goyf, but you don't want to play 3 things.
You know, the funny thing is we talked about Goyf before this matchup. Have not seen him.
Yeah, hasn't come out.
Oh, well,
Finally.
there he is.
Let's look at what Goyf dice we have. We don't even know.
Yeah.
Well, I
So
guess,
old art versus new art on Goyf.
Ooh. I actually don't know what the newest Goyf art looks
Well,
like.
I think it's the same one that's been since the first
a while.
Modern Masters.
I want to say I like the old frame more than the art.
Okay.
And the newer art, but not as much the frame.
Okay.
That's where I stand. How about you?
I hate the art on the first Goyf, but I also hated that card. It was one of those cards where even when I owned it, I felt dirty owning that
Yeah.
card. Like I just never wanted to play it.
Well, it's weird when they do funky stuff like casting costs in the top left. It just throws off new players, and they don't know where to look for stuff.
Right. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's much harder to find the original art now in Japanese, but when the first Modern Masters was printed, there was no Japanese.
Yeah.
And I'm like Sam Rokas, I like Japanese cards, so
I would like to see EE on 2 here from Jarvis, and it would be the blowout.
seems pretty good. All right, so let's see. Oh, those are 2 colors. Hey, there it is. For the win.
Seems like yes.
All right, there goes all the things that cost 2.
Ooh, there's only 1 minute and 40 seconds in the round. I might get
Oh,
some relief with
some
a draw.
reprieve? Nah, there's no reprieve for you.
We'll see
There's
about
still going
that.
to be an Entreat the Angels coming.
Oh, Romario does have a Flusterstorm, so
Hmm.
we'll see how good it is.
I don't know. Jarvis was pretty conservative, I think, with his Entreat the last time, right? So he'll probably leave some mana that he could pay for a couple of copies of Flusterstorm. Mario just having a tough time. He is. I mean, he hasn't really seen many threats this whole
Right.
game.
Him being at 5, I think, will be the thing that costs him.
Mm-hmm. It's because of your favorite card. And now we're going to Wasteland. Okay. And play a Delver. Jarvis like, yeah, sure. It may block an Angel in a turn or two.
What? Didn't play the death right.
All right, so Jarvis is brainstorming. Play
So
lands, they
Tundra,
go.
Ponder, Snapcaster in his hands.
I think it's time to entreat some
Ladies
Angels.
and players, that is time in the round. You have up to 5 turns to complete your match. If you have a time
All right, so they're calling for time in the round.
table, please
What did we
call for
reveal
a
there?
judge.
Did you catch that?
Abrupt Decay.
Okay.
If your match is complete and you have not yet turned in your match slip, please bring it to the stage.
So these guys probably still have a little bit of an extension again, too.
So Jarvis is wondering if he should be entreating on the upkeep here.
Right.
And the only relevance of the Abrupt Decay is I think it adds to the storm count of a Flusterstorm.
Mm-hmm.
Which, good on him for calculating,
Sure.
but decides that it's not worth it. Here we go. No reason to Abrupt Decay that with 2 tops out.
Right.
Don't respond yet. Wait and see what he casts. You're not playing Stifle.
No, the brainstorm's only going to help his count, right?
Well, it does help his count, but there's no reason to use it until you see what your opponent pays. For instance, if Jarvis just puts this into his hand and doesn't use it, Romario's going to feel pretty silly.
Yeah, and he certainly could do that. There's
Yeah.
not really, I mean, he does lose his Jace to do that,
He does.
but he does have Snapcaster and Brainstorm. So
Yeah.
he still has ways that he can put that entreat right back.
Yep.
Looks like Jarvis is still going in.
Do we know if Romario has used his Jace yet?
He has not.
That's good. All right, so now he can Abrupt Decay something and then Flusterstorm the entreat.
And it will work.
Yep. If he tries to just hardcast Force here, he could get himself in deep trouble. Better to use the Abrupt Decay and recognize that Jarvis is playing around Abrupt Decay anyway with his sideboarding strategy.
Right. Looks like he's debating that Abrupt Decay like you were saying.
Yeah.
Oh, Force of Will. All right, so Jarvis in the tank now. It's rough for Jarvis, too, to finish this with enough time. And
Yeah.
Jace being used by Romario.
Yeah, I really think I'm getting my reprieve.
I don't know, he's still at 4.
It's true.
Jarvis does have a Snapcaster yet.
If it were 2, I might agree with you.
Well, yeah, you would probably at that point. Yeah, Romario also has an Abrupt Decay. And there's another Jace.
So it's probably going to bounce the Delver here.
Yeah, it's probably his best line. Yep. So we see a Brainstorm. Is that a red elemental? Or no?
Ponder's what I saw.
Ponder. Okay. Ponder. Didn't see anything up there worth doing.
I like how Jarvis organizes his graveyard. I wish more people would do that.
Fanning it out.
Yeah, the traditional way Romario does it, I don't love.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, in a Snapcaster deck especially, the
Yeah.
problem is when you pile it on top like that, and you go, what can I Snapcaster back? And you pick up your graveyard, start looking at it, they go, oh, you have Snapcaster in your hand.
Mm-hmm.
Love to know where we are as far as time for these guys.
Me too. Me too.
All right.
Dueling Jaces of the rules change. I like the idea that legendaries would trade off with each other, you know?
Actually legendary.
Yeah.
All right, so we have an entreat up here. So how deep are we going this time, Jarvis? He does have a counter spell in his hand. Is this the Flusterstorm?
Ooh. And now the Fluster is actually worthwhile. Now you can counter the counter spells to the Invasive Surgery and make sure that there's no entreats left.
Right.
So then we're checking for 4 types.
Sure, he says. Go ahead. Well, Jarvis in a tough position at this point.
Yeah, there's not even Snapcaster flashback casting and treating now.
Nope. Although Romario is still at 4, and there are 2 Snapcaster mages.
Jarvis didn't bring in mentors.
Seems like a bit of a mistake.
Those 2 Snapcasters are his last
That's
win
it.
conditions.
Yeah, well, the Jace technically too.
True, true.
But I don't know if he has enough time necessarily for that.
I think Romario boarded out him, which is really weird to me.
Because it won him game 1?
Yeah.
Did his time?
And it's really good.
All right.
But were he to cast him there, I think the game is over.
Right. All right. So now Jarvis has to get, he's got to get busy with them Snapcasters.
Yeah, it's not going to be an easy way to pull himself out of this one.
No. Especially because Romario has 2 blockers.
Yeah. I think Romario's playing into the draw. Doesn't seem that concerned with speeding up or anything.
Well, they're in time now, so.
Right.
They're in turns, I should say.
But I think he's been doing that sort of all along.
Yeah.
Not been rushing, not been hurrying up his play. I think this is common.
Well, he was definitely way behind, so.
Way behind, yeah. I'm impressed that he's in this good of a state right now.
Right.
It's probably something to say with the power of Jace.
Yeah, Jace is
that
something.
Surgical on Pyroblast was huge. Made me eat my words on that one.
Yeah, there you go.
But if that were a hymn to Torok, just as good. Maybe even better.
Yeah, probably better. Questioning something about the state of whatever's going on.
I think it was wanting to respond, or had he used Jace yet? And he reminded him that he had.
Yes, he definitely has. I think it's very important right now that Jarvis plays very deliberately, and he doesn't have a lot of margin for error.
No need to rush, certainly.
No. And now we're seeing the Snapcaster come down. In response, we're eating with Deathrite.
Jarvis still has an EE, or he only plays the 1?
1.
There's one sideboarded and no main. No, one main.
Oh, okay.
And one of them was clicked away. So maybe he thinks if he snaps twice, he can draw EE, sweep both the ones, and attack for the win.
Okay. That seems pretty
But
good.
I think he knows that Romario has an Abrupt Decay in hand.
Here comes the other Snapcaster. He's actually going to get to brainstorm this time. Not a whole lot of help there.
Yeah, that's
a lot of lands.
lands. Yeah.
And don't Jace now. All right.
That was all main phase.
Yep.
The Delver flips.
Flip. It's not good news for Jace.
No, Jace is probably down. And Romario just has to be careful that he doesn't punt and die at 4.
Right. Think he's not even going to try to take down Jace. He's just going to stay back on defense.
Yeah.
Liliana not so bad here even.
Yeah.
Making your opponent sacrifice a creature pretty good when you're at
Killing
4.
an ambush sniper.
Yeah. Here it comes. It's coming. Boom.
I don't like the way he tapped that, but playing is right.
Well, who needs blue mana?
Yeah, you know, just the
Now
most
Jace.
important color. No big deal.
Well, he wasn't certainly the one bringing the package. That was Joe Brennan earlier, the
Right,
points
right.
leader.
That seems unnecessary, but I guess if you're trying to win on time, I don't
Yeah,
know what
yeah.
turn it is.
I mean, if that's what he's looking to do right here.
Yeah, I'd kind of like them to mark the turn with a dice, if the floor judge could do that, so we'd know where we're
This
at.
is, I think, 3. I think this is 3. Wow. Timely.
Yeah, but timely just to stay in the game, not to
Right.
win. It was indeed a miracle.
It was. Well, like a Hail Mary
Yeah.
touchdown. It was a miracle. It was certainly not a miracle on ice. That would be a Disney production. Kurt Russell.
Wow, he's fate sealing. We're
All
on
right, this is turn 4. Yeah, so- All right, see a ponder. Not a whole lot of help there. We're looking at a shuffle. So this is Romario's last turn.
Yeah, both players know it's a draw, kind of a formality at this point.
Right. Unless Jarvis can like sneak another and cheat the Angels into his deck
Yep.
and have it be the top card and somehow draw it right now.
Yeah, piece of cake.
So this this draw much better for Romario than it is for Jarvis. Jarvis has to go now and fight other Miracles players. Romario now gets to go in and fight
lesser
Mir-
experienced
Right.
Miracles
Yeah,
players.
there you
People
go.
who haven't won GPs.
Yeah. People win GPs, generally not terrible players.
Yeah,
so.
not the people you really want to play against.
And that should be game.
Yep.
Would you like to scoop to me? No. Would you like to scoop to me? No. But I have Jace. I'm about to kill you. I don't care. I could have stopped it. All right, sorry.
Yeah, that's probably the conversation.
It's pretty
there.
call. I'm pretty sure.
It's Jarvis saying no, or Romario being like, you're being unreasonable, but what can I do?
Right.
You're allowed to be.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right.
Back.
Whew. All right, no more miracles. No.
We did say at the beginning of the day that was going to be a thing.
It is definitely
we'll
a thing.
Try to avoid it as best we can, but you also want to see the top tables, so it's a little tricky.
When it's basically the best deck in the format, you're probably going to see a good bit of it.
When in Rome.
When in Rome.
So I'm really hoping for a Chaos Elves.
When you said when in Rome, the first thing I think of is Anchorman.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's a good movie.
When in Rome. San Diego.
Yeah. Jack Black's cameo on that one, I think, was one of my favorite moments.
I'll punch you straight in the Jack Johnson. Oh, man.
Oh, that was too good.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So,
But yeah, so
we're going to
yeah.
go out. Go
definitely some miracles. We've probably got a couple of moments before we get to the next round. That's probably one of the last matches.
Yeah, we're just gonna take a 5-minute break, show
Okay.
some sponsorship stuff before we come
From
back.
Dex Protection.
From Dex Protection and
EE6,
brought to you by Tales of Adventure.
Baltimore, home of the wire.
Heck yeah. Classic wire.
See you
Love
in a
it.
couple.
See you in a couple.